There are bran cakes in the glove compartment. Oh.
Well, it's time for another recap. As you can see, wait. My life's a bit busy. I got a lot of animals in my life now for some reason. I just do. I have a lot of them. In this house, we have 6 cats, two fish, 2 betta fish, one in that tank and then one in another tank, 2 pet spiders, a pet snake. This is a full house. And I have brought with me the gift of basic biatch energy in the form of corporate coffee drinks. Listen, it's been a crazy year, and we need to talk about it. It's been a difficult year for sure. After I left my job, I left my job. I don't know how many people know about that on this channel. I know I've talked about it a couple of times in the podcast that I'm working on, and in the live stream that I'm doing. So again, mostly I'm focusing on those things more than the YouTube channel. But yes, I left my job. I left my job as a writer, pretty much very, very late last year, beginning of this year. I said bon voyage and have not looked back, but it's been pretty rough. It's been rough finding work. I haven't been able to find any jobs that are willing to accept me for me, and it's been tough. You know, my wife, bless her soul, has been really taking care of us financially this last year, and it's been pretty tough just living on that one income. But we're getting by. We're doing well. We're not in a crisis mode yet, so it's just we just feel the squeeze, you know, just the squeeze. But I think everybody right now, in this day and age, especially in this year, are feeling the squeeze for sure. Politically, it's a mess. We are in turmoil. We are in absolute. This is DEFCON 1. We are in a very socially. We're in a bad place. Politically, we're in a bad place. We're not doing very well as a country, and I think a lot of people are starting to feel that with AI taking over things, and you know, who knows? It's terrible. Which is one of the reasons why I left writing. I realized that there weren't really a lot of gigs for writers anymore. To be an intellectual in 2025 is a very difficult thing to do. So I've been pursuing other things. I'm very much debating going back to school. I'm going to go back to try and get my master's degree. I think it's really the only shot that I have realistically at making it, and making anything of myself. I think that's it. I just got to go back to school. Doing what? I have no idea. I really don't know, but I will definitely try my best to figure it out. It's been a year of a couple of losses. If you'll notice, this tank back here is very dungeonous, very dark, very dim. I had a Pac-Man frog. There goes my cat Pixel. I had a Pac-Man frog back here, named Tucker. We love Tucker. We took good care of her. She turned out to have some very rare disease that we didn't know about until post-mortem, until we figured out, you know, we were able to look at the symptoms closely and kind of deduce, like, okay, she has this contagious disease that frogs get when they are being incubated. So where we got her from likely didn't do a very good job of taking care of her, and we lost her. So she passed away, which was pretty sad. My wife lost one of her fish. Pretty sad stuff. I mean, you know, the losses luckily this year have been very minimal. I think that's sort of the lucky thing about where we're at right now. I've been coming to grips lately with the fact that I also realize that, like, you know, staying in Southern California probably isn't the best option for me, for my family, for my wife. There's really not a lot of job opportunity here. There's really not a lot of chances for us to kind of flourish and grow and, you know, move upwards in our lives, in our careers. My neighbors, this has not been a secret to anybody. I think there are actually videos of me, a much younger me, on this channel back in 2014 making fun of my neighbors for being a bunch of loud jackasses. And when those jackasses left, more jackasses took the place. And it's living here it sucks. So there are a lot of reasons, I think, why we want to get out of here. Also, you know, being in a place, for me personally, I know a lot of people in the house don't feel this way. This is kind of just a me thing, and I know I should probably just get over it. But, you know, this being the place where my grandmother passed away, and this sort of being like her house before it became our house, you know, there's a lot of memories. And, you know, I think I'm at this point mentally where, like, I want a fresh start. I want to move on from those memories. I want to try again and you know, start anew with less things weighing me down, you know? So the plan is try to sell, try to move. It's a very difficult thing to do. If anybody's ever moved before, you know how unbelievably challenging it can be. We are not looking forward to it, but I think it's something that really should be done. And hopefully we'll find somewhere that we really enjoy being, somewhere that makes us all happy and that we that we do a lot better there than we do here. That's the hope. That's looking forward, you know. More things to look forward to for me. Project Grind, my podcast. There's a link. I'm going to throw a link into this description of this video, you best believe, because I want you guys over there. If you haven't been there yet, you need to check it out. Keenan and I have been working on this podcast for years. We've been really doing the time, punching the numbers in, and it hasn't really felt like that because, you know, it's just like it's two friends hanging out, talking about things that are interesting to them. But I want to take this podcast to the next level because after working on this for almost 2 years now, I really do believe that this podcast can go somewhere. I think that it has really good potential to take off and be something bigger than it is. I don't know how big I'm not going to say this is going to be this next big, huge thing. I have no idea where it's going to land. But I know that with a little bit of social media help, with a little bit of spreading the word, I think that it has a lot of potential to be something that people really find interesting, which is very exciting for me. I think the one thing that I've always wanted is to have my projects go ahead of me. You know, I don't really care about fame. I don't care about money. I don't care about notoriety. I care about the things that I work on, the things that I put a lot of time and energy and heart and soul into, becoming bigger than whatever I could put together with my two hands. You know, I want something that is going to reach a larger audience. I want something that's going to entertain people and make people think. I think that would be an amazing thing to have this podcast be that project that does that. And I really do think there's a chance. I think that there's a really strong chance of it becoming that thing. So the plan with that one for the future is, you know, try and get more of a following, be more active on social media, get guest stars. We've been talking about wanting to have guests come on the show and talk with us for pretty much since we started podcasting. We've been talking about wanting to do this. It's very exciting, the prospect that could be possible. That could happen. I think that's really cool. You know, maybe somebody who is actually in the know of cryptozoology. If we could actually get like a cryptozoologist who studies these things to come on and talk with us, that would be phenomenal. I would be giddy with delight. I think that would be so cool. So there's a lot of things to look forward to. It's going to be a very crazy year. 2026, I think, is going to be much crazier than this one. It's going to be very busy. It's going to be a little scary. It's going to be a lot scary, actually. but I'm ready for it. I think I'm ready for this. I'm pretty excited. I think the age of 31 will be a pretty good year for me indeed. Being 30 was pretty cool, actually. I mean, let's talk about the past for a second. There's been some amazing things that happened to me this year. This year, I got to go on several trips. I went, I wouldn't say abroad, but I went to my home state of Oregon. I visited that for a little while, and I showed my wife around because she's never been there before. She's only heard like stories that I've told her about the area, and she got to actually experience it firsthand, which I think was a really cool experience for us to share. We've also been to several concerts this year. We got to go to Linkin Park. I got to touch this guy, and my wife got to touch this girl. And then we went to 21 Pilots, and I got to touch this guy. We both got to touch this guy, and we both got to touch this guy as well. And I think being that close to some of my biggest inspirations, my biggest idols, from a creative standpoint, especially Mike Shinoda, I've been a follower of his artwork, not just the music, but also his actual visual art, and his poetry for since I was 12, I think, probably even younger. And so to actually have the chance to be that close to him and have that sort of special interaction, have that contact, I think really woke something up in me. I think after that, I don't know, everything became very crystal clear of what I need to do with my life. And so I've been kind of just going through all of the harebrained ideas in my mind and fleshing them all out as best as I can. The podcast being one of them. This channel being another. I did upload recently. If you all saw, I want to talk about this stint really quickly, and then I'll get back to all the cool things I did this year. But I had this stint of time, if you've noticed, where I uploaded a whole bunch of gaming content, like all at once. I had probably a good 2 or 3 months. I don't quite remember how long it was, about that, of uploading content. And the reason why I did that was I was testing the algorithm. I wanted to see just how far it could go. You know, the very first video that I had made coming back after not really uploading anything realistically for like 2 or 3 years. Uh, obviously uploading things like this every now and then, but really just not making any sort of like legitimate content for about 2 or 3 years now on this channel. Um, you know, what would happen if I uploaded more legitimate, core content? And what I found was the very first one did very well, went off without a hitch. So I said, okay, let's keep making content like this and see how far it goes. So I made the content. I was getting hundreds of views, doing pretty well. Every once in a while, there'd be a flop, 20, 30. Okay, well, we kick those videos off and we keep going, right? Eventually got to the point where I had finally reached my last video, and I took a hiatus, a very brief week-long hiatus, for the trip to go see Linkin Park. And I saw them in Portland. So we were gone for a week. We were in Portland, just kind of taking in the sights. I had only had like 1 or 2 videos that were uploaded during that time because I had them scheduled, and just absolute tank in viewership. And what that taught me was YouTube's algorithm is very interested in one of 2 things: either consistency on a regular basis or grabbing videos. And what I mean by grabbing videos are videos that, can grab your attention pretty quickly and can hold it for a long period of time, right? And these can be one-off videos. In a lot of cases right now, people are really doing, like iceberg videos, deep dive videos, hour-long content, long-form content, because TikTok's already dominated short form. So YouTube does not care, except for YouTube Shorts, which people still use. And you can be a successful YouTube Shorts YouTuber. I believe that. I think that it's probably harder to do because the algorithm's different. The algorithm's more like TikTok's, and becoming TikTok famous in 2025 is basically impossible. Good luck. And I'm not really interested in doing short form stuff anyway, with the exception of like getting short form content onto these platforms for Project Grind for promotional purposes. But when it comes to like making content, I really am interested in long form. Again, I did just this month actually. I was so obsessed with, still am obsessed with Stranger Things. We've got 1 more episode. By the time this comes out, that episode I believe will already be technically out. So hey, future me, womp womp. Are you sad about the ending? I'm sure you are. It is very sad to me to like have I've literally watched this show for 9 years, and for them to just end it. Very sad. All good things must come to an end, I suppose, but you just hate to be there when it does come to an end. But I am very excited to see how they're going to wrap it all up. Very, very eager. I made a Stranger Things related video, a video essay, in fact, and it got like 600 views. That's pretty good. For this channel especially, considering how inconsistent I am, considering how dead this channel has been for the last few years, that's pretty good. I think I would like to keep uploading videos to this channel. I don't think I have time or the energy or the patience to build up gaming content. But I think if you guys are going to expect to see anything, you might see a couple vlogs like this, but you're probably going to see a lot of writing related stuff. I'm very interested in writing. I've been writing tons and tons and tons of essays and, conceptual ideas lately. I've got tons of work that I'm very eager to put out there. And so I think we're going to see a lot of video essays on this channel. This was a direction that I've always wanted to take. I've been taking it on and off for the last probably 6 or 7 years now, where I started doing video essays and I wasn't very good at them and they were kind of crappy, and obviously you got to start somewhere. But I feel like I've come a very long way since then. I think that the video essays that I create now are pretty decent quality. I think that they stand up to a lot of other video essays out there, and I think I have a pretty good chance of making something of those as well. Again, as long as I can make something that reaches people, I don't care if they know who I am. I care that the video gets there. That's what I'm worried about. So I think I'm in a good spot right now. Creatively speaking, I think I'm in a pretty good spot. I'm going to just really go for it this time. I really am. I know I say that a lot. I know there's been a couple years where, we've had so many ups and downs on these videos because life is like that. You get your ups and you get your downs. And, when I made 2025, this was at the end of 24. I still had I didn't have my job. I was leaving, but I still I got to see Jacksepticeye. I had more concerts I saw then. And, I got to live life. I was really living life then. And, I'm still doing that now. And it's great. It's good. I mean, I'm happy. I'm busy. I feel frazzled. I feel everything's very hectic, but but I'm good. I think I'm in a really good position right now, and I'm very eager to see where this next year is going to take me because I think this is really the year. This is my year. I'm going to make 2026 my bitch. That was a Mark Hoppus quote right there. But yes, going back to the past, I got to see Linkin Park. I got to see 21 Pilots. They came to LA. So I went, got to see them. Very, very cool. So much fun. What a blast to be. We actually had amazing seats because my wife was lucky enough to find some pre-sale seats that we were able to get for a really good price. They were like just like $100 or $200 or whatever it was. And you were basically right at the front. You were right next to the pit. Like they had the pit and then off to the side was us and our own assigned seats. Very cool. We were also, because we were on the edge of those seats, we were able to go up to when they started bringing out these bars. They always do this. They do like tape or bars or whatever. So that way the audience, this is what security does. So that way the audience doesn't get in the way of the performers as they run back and forth. But we were able to get pretty much right up against there. And that's how we were able to, give Tyler and Josh high fives. And oh man, what an amazing experience. What an amazing experience to be right there, to be that close, to be with other people who are such huge fans of this music and to share that moment with them and with the band themselves. It was a moment, really, honestly, like nothing else I've ever experienced in my entire life. And it's one of those core memories I think I'm going to take with me all the way to my deathbed. It's also been just like a great year for music. Sleep Token in May came out with Even in Arcadia. And then, of course, 21 Pilots comes out with Breach, and Motion City Soundtrack came out with a new album. And it's like that, God, there's just so much good music this year. Like it was a great year for music. Good year for video games too. I know the Video Game Awards were popping this year. It's been great. It's been very cool to experience a lot of the cool things that have come out and to be, involved in these circles and be somebody who can enjoy all of it. And talk to you guys about it. Jeez, what a time to be alive, man. It's very cool. I'm very content. I think 2025 was a pretty decent year. There were a lot of hard times, and I'll never forget that either. I mean, at the end of the day, we have struggled financially. We've struggled mentally. There's been a lot of like very serious things going on. Health-wise, we've been struggling with that. But we're hanging in there. And outside of that, I would say, yeah, pretty good year all in all. Now, I know a lot of you who are paying attention to Project Grind and are paying attention to, the live stream events that I do every week. A lot of you started here. Some of you may not even know those things exist. Maybe you're just checking in after being away for a couple years and being like, oh, this dude again, he's posting stuff. That's weird. I guess I'll watch some of it. Why not? And some of you are brand new from this period of time I was talking about where I've uploaded a whole bunch of stuff all at once and then kind of went dormant for a little while. But hello, welcome. But whoever you are, I want to sincerely thank you for watching this video. I like making these. They're very I don't know. They're helpful in a lot of ways for me. Very cathartic, very poignant, and I enjoy making them. And I appreciate those of you who take the time every year to listen to these. I think so. 2026. I think I started doing this when it was turning over to 2021. Is that right? Have I been doing this for 5 years now? Probably. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it. It sure doesn't feel like it at all. They say that time speeds up when you get older. Some days that feels like a complete lie. Some days that couldn't be closer to the truth. But either way, thank you all so much for being here, for taking the time to listen to not just this video, but any of my videos, to watch any of my videos, to listen to the podcasts, to support me in any way. I literally can't do any of this without you. I know a lot of YouTubers and content creators say that crap, and it does start to sound like a cliche after a while, but it's true. I mean, without you guys, we really can't do what we get to do. And I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. I will keep plugging on. I'll keep pushing forward and I'll keep making more content for you guys. Very excited for Project Grind. Very excited for videos on this channel. I think that there's going to be a much stronger tone of professionalism that's going to be put into this channel in the next coming year. I think that polish is necessary, and I think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to like cheapen anything. I don't think that original fans going to be like, "You're not the same brand cake." I think it's just going to be more of what I'm doing now, but a lot of improvements, and really just me following up on the promises that I made to myself almost a decade ago about where I wanted to take this channel, what direction I wanted to go in. I think I'm finally ready after all that time and after all that learning and all that growing. I think that I'm finally ready to give you guys the final product. And I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited for this future. Thank you. A million times. Thank you. I will see you guys very soon with more content. But until then, take care of yourselves. It's kind of a weird world out there right now. Things are really weird. So just be careful. Be cool. Take care of yourselves. Take care of those around you. And I'll see you guys very soon.